Today, we're going to talk about these little potatoes. How I planted them, how I took care of them, and how I harvested them. But also, how this little potato, Papa Negra, changed the world. Very often you'll find fantastic videos online with tons of great information, but you realize I'm living in Whitehorse, Yukon, Canada, in the north beside Alaska, or I'm in Thailand, and that video you just watched was filmed in Southern California. So if you really have any questions, the best thing to do is talk to the locals, people who have been doing it for years and years in the area that you're in. And more often than not, they'll be more than happy to help you. So I had questions, and that's exactly what I did.
Sí.
Pero hoy tengo interés en lo tradicional también. ¿Y las papas?
Y las papas se plantan aquí abajo. Nosotros teníamos la costumbre de plantarlas porque decíamos para Navidades, en septiembre
Para
también.
Navidad.
Sí, octubre, noviembre y diciembre. Se plantaban las papas rosadas.
Rosada.
En septiembre, en el mismo menguante.
Ah,
Sí, para cogerlas en Navidad.
en Navidad.
Para cogerlas nuevas.
¿Plantan las papas?
Las
para
papas,
Navidad?
sí, las papas las plantas tú en menguante y el día de septiembre que sea. Sí.
Yo tengo papas negras plantadas.
Papas negras ya.
Sí.
Buenísima, ¿la plantaste?
Sí, ya.
¿Ya la recogiste?
Todavía no.
So I went out and bought a kilo of potatoes, put them in a nice cloth bag in a dark place for a month or so, let them sprout, put them down with a little bit of compost, and there you go. Then a month or so later, you've got a beautiful little plant like this. Now the next step is to earth up those potato plants. Now, there are three main reasons for earthing up potatoes. The first one, we don't really need to do it here in the Canary Islands, but it is to reduce frost damage early on in the season. Those tender leaves are beneath the soil and cannot be affected by late frosts. The second is to encourage larger crops, which we all want, because potatoes grow near the surface of the soil, and by earthing up, you are giving them a little more space to make new tubers. The third reason is to prevent tubers from turning green. Any potato tubers that are exposed to direct sunlight will develop green skin, and at this point, they become inedible. Earthing them up prevents this from happening. Another benefit of earthing up your potatoes is that you get to keep an eye on what's going on inside your soil. See if there are any plagues going on, insects, infestations. Cutworms can be really nasty. Cutworms will just chew the stem. There's one here, look. Just chew the stem right off and kill a plant before the potatoes get a chance to grow. Nasty, nasty little creatures. Here, take a closer look at this. It's pretending to be sleeping, but it's not. So the Canarian potato, or Papa Canaria, has the protected designation of origin, which is the highest recognition granted by the European Union to food products. This designation protects about 29 varieties. So I wanted to get into a little bit of the history of the potato in the Canary Islands, and I thought, what better place than the municipal market in Santa Cruz, where you can find all sorts of goodies and many different types of papas. Well, the potato was first seen by European explorers in lowland Chile in 1551 and in the Andes in 1552. The first known written record of potatoes in Europe was on November 28th, 1567 in the Canary Islands. A notary public by the name of Lorenzo Palenzuela recorded that potatoes were sent from Gran Canaria, one of their neighboring islands here, to Antwerp, Belgium. It is speculated that potatoes were introduced into the Canary Islands at least 5 years earlier, in 1562. By 1681, potatoes had reached such value in Tenerife that they fulfilled the tithing or taxing requirements to the Catholic Church. It took until 1776 for the potato to be surpassed by the wine grape in the islands. Potatoes spread throughout Europe around 1750, and they provided greater food security and massive growth of the working class, which in turn, the British, Dutch, and German empires grew on the backs of the growing groups of farmers, laborers, and soldiers. These groups also supplied the workforce for the Industrial Revolution, and that changed everything. If you'd like to learn more, I've included a couple interesting videos in the links below and some cool links.
Secaban las papas.
Oh, excavar.
¿Sabe?
Oh, cuidado. Oh.
Papas negras, las papas negras son chiquititas.
Ay, mira,
Ellas aparecen.
no hay mucha.
No, porque las papas negras son pocas. ¿Ves? Miren una raíz aquí donde está.
¿Y otro?
Estas es más.
Oh, yeah, mira, están. ¿Y qué piensas? ¿Es poco o normal?
No, normal. Aquí salen las papas negras, estas salen chiquititas.
Pero en esta cantidad,
Sí, más o menos.
mucho tiempo, pero pocas papas, ¿no?
Claro.
Bingo. Look at these beauties. Now I've got to take them home and prepare them the traditional Canarian way. Let's give them a little bit of a rinse here. Get rid of that dirt. Turn on that stove and put some salt in here. And I don't mean just a sprinkle. Let's get some coarse sea salt in there. Don't be shy. Heat on, lid on, and let's bring that to a boil. Okay, here comes the trick. Let's turn off the heat. Drain those papas, get that water out of there, and you're going to return it to the stove top. It's off, but it's still hot. And what that's going to do is going to evaporate all the excess water and dry it out a bit. And then, well, actually, let's turn off that fan. And then the trick is you have to give them a little toss. You want them kind of evenly, there you go, toss them so they're evenly dried out on all sides. You don't want to burn them. That's why you turn off the heat, very important. Salty spuds. Typically served with two sauces, mojo verde y mojo rojo. But I only had mojo verde today.